Hey, welcome to Mixtapes and Mopeds with Red Wheels and Panda. Of course, it's the fastest growing podcast on the planet. Big shout out to our newest, comments that came out here recently. I had some comments coming out of DC and Arlington. A shout out to Eleanor and Harry out there in Arlington, Virginia.
Nice.
We have
Eleanor
some
stepping
fun
up.
things. Yeah, a little stepping up in the Virginia, DC area.
Her
And of
dad won't
course,
step up, but she is. That's good to see.
and all those fans, of course, in Ohio and Georgia and Alabama and Arizona and South Carolina. Love all you guys. By the way, you got to also check out the redwheelspanda.com. There is so many things going on there. Of course, it's also the fastest growing website on the planet. Mr. Panda, what say you?
Well, last time we said when we had been gone for a while, we said we're going to do better. And look at us. Like 10 days later, we got another podcast. So that I think we lived up to our good word. This is actually our 30th podcast. I was doing the math. So we did 22 last year, and this is our eighth
30th
one.
episode. Are you kidding me?
30,
30th
yeah.
episode.
Can you
Wow.
believe we got to 30? I mean, when
Wow.
you called me and said, "Hey, let's do a podcast," did you really think we'd get 30? I mean, these are like an hour, so that's 30 hours of episodes. That's pretty
Content. There
cool.
you go.
Yeah, yeah. So
Sorry,
hopefully,
kids. You have something to watch the rest of your lives.
yeah, poor them. Yes, yes. But so hopefully we'll get a couple more here. I know that things get really crazy from here on out. We got holidays in November and then you got more holidays in December. But I think we could probably get one in November, one in December. So we'll probably have a nice 10 for the year. That seems like a nice round number. So looking forward to that. But hey, one of the things that I was talking about with the Mrs. Panda is like we'll probably have one, our next one sometime, mid November, about a month away, right before the big game against that team from up north. So we might want to consider bringing in a M fan and maybe a Buckeye fan. Maybe get Marcus in and somebody else and have a little
Oh,
debate.
we got to get Marcus in this deal. We haven't had Marcus on, have we?
No, we haven't. We got to get him on.
Oh, we got to bring Mr. Marcus on. Oh, right before that game. Yes.
Yeah, that would be
He would
good.
be perfect.
He
Yes,
would
yes,
be
yes.
perfect for that. Yes, the perfect foil for our Buckeye fandom. Yes,
Fantastic. He'd give us kinds of crap and we can easily say, cheaters, cheaters, cheaters.
exactly. That'll be a very easy comeback for at least a
Yeah, you
year or
don't have to say
two.
anything. And he knows he bows immediately.
So that was my thought on the podcast. But big up news I wanted to share is tomorrow is 27th year for Mrs. Panda and I. So she has put up with
For
me for a
all of
while.
those youngsters that know how to put up with the panda,
Exactly. I don't know how she does it, but 27 amazing years. So
she feeds you
happy
lots of
anniversary
bamboo.
and lots of bamboo. Yes. So big day tomorrow. You get to a certain age where, the last 2 years we actually went to an island both years. So I guess I really shouldn't say this, but most years, other than the last couple
You're
of
on
years,
an island.
we're on an island. No, yeah, exactly. But we're gonna actually go go to Bluffton. We're gonna go off island and have Mexican and go shopping. That's gonna be our date. We're gonna go to World Market, look for some stuff for our place, and go to Mexican somewhere in Bluffton. So yeah, big plans for tomorrow. That's pretty much all we got on the
The
plate.
27-year capping.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Happy early anniversary,
Thank you.
27 years. That wedding was just one of the most beautiful weddings to ever attend and one of the funner ones with
That
all the
was
events that
fun.
happen.
Yes, yes.
Say a big shout out to their Muddy Buddy.
Mighty
Uh,
buddy, mighty buddy. Yes. Most people who watch this probably get that, so that makes it even funnier.
So
Yes.
the rant of the week of Wheels always has a rant of the week. I'm going to give a rant of the week as the positive rant of the week this week. It
Ooh,
is,
nice.
yeah, you know what? I've experienced customers. How many times do we have? Everybody complains about customer service. Somebody doesn't do something,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You go, how do you know? customer service, you just it's the easiest thing, but we always experience these kind of bad things. So, I kind of always try to make it as easy as possible. So, one of the things when Barb and I are going to a place, I always say, let's go to the bar because the best person that's ever going to serve you is the bartender is the best probably server in the whole entire place. So as long as you're not going to a busy place, a busy restaurant that they're ordering up the bar, you're typically going to get the best customer service at the bar. The other key thing, and we did this, it really shined when we were up in Philly about 4 weeks ago. I don't think I said this on the last podcast, but we make it a point to always ask the server's name no matter what. I do that regardless. I don't care who's coming to my house. I always make sure I talk to them and I always ask the one question of, hey, how are you doing? And smile before I order food, before somebody comes and, mows the lawn or fixes something. I just, hey, how you doing? That one thing. We
Mhm.
did that in Philly, and you thought these people were. They looked at me, and they had the biggest smile going. Somebody actually asked how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Down here in the South, everybody's friendly anyway.
Hmm.
But when you're up in somewhere where it's not quite so friendly, it was so automatically you try to set some of these people up for customer service. But the reason I'm giving the big shout of the week this week, always, I'll say for a national company, I'll give the biggest commercial to Delta Airlines. I'm at 1.5 million miles of Delta. I don't know what that equates to and how
Woo.
many flights that means. You got to be way up there too with the number of flights. I have I literally can go through and I can really say I've never had a bad experience. It's always been something
Wow.
I go through, weather does stuff, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
there's always something, but Delta always comes back strong and always I'm paying a couple $300 more every other flight now. I mean, it's getting expensive and they're
Hmm.
more expensive than everybody else.
Hmm.
But I go, crap happens when traveling. It's just going to happen. And I know those guys are going to take care of me. And,
Yeah.
but in particular this week, I had a doctor's appointment and, doctor's offices, they're awful. Yeah, they're never on time. The paperwork, it's just miserable. I had just the best experience of the nicest practitioner, the PA assistant, the doctor, the everybody I went through in this doctor appointment couldn't have been any better. On This was on Tuesday, and then yesterday I had lights on in my house. Big shout out to a local company here, Georgia Lightscapes and Jorge. I just had these lights put in 2 years ago, and like five of them stopped working. I'm going, God bless. And then I went out there to try to fix them. And I go, I don't know what the heck's wrong. And I'm trying to mess with it. And I go, you could go look it up in YouTube. I go, screw it. They just put them in. Let's
Right.
dispatch the guy. Next day, guy shows up, and Jorge comes out. He goes, hey, Mr. Wheeler, let me show you how to fix it. Literally 5 seconds. You do this, you hold on to here, you go here. And the nicest guy on the planet. I talked to him. We talked and said, "Hey, Jorge." We shook hands, and I my big shot is on customer service. And when you get somebody and they're smiling with you, great shout. That's my big rant of the week.
I love your rant, but I'm not exactly sure what accent you were going for there. But we'll kind of let that one slide.
My goodness, there's so much good stuff going on too. So put a smile on, ask their first name, ask them how they're doing, and it'll make it a better day for everybody.
I know that that's not BS because I witness you doing that every single time. I know it's something that you do. So that's all.
Every
I've
single
always
time you,
I've always
yeah.
noticed it too. I don't do it. I mean, I wish I should do it, or I wish I would do it, but I do notice that you do it. So I think that's cool.
All right. What's happening with you? I see something Bon Jovi. What's going on
Yeah.
around? What is going on with that?
All right, so I think I've mentioned our TikTok account last time, and it's really growing rapidly and just really excited to see it perform. And so we put out a Bon Jovi. Every day I put out a video where I'd pull out an album and just play it. And it's only like a 30 or 40-second video. I don't play the whole album. It's just a little snippet. I talk about the album. Well, I did one for Bon Jovi's New Jersey album from 1988. Just loaded album. It's got 5 top 10
Whoa,
hits.
whoa. Yeah.
Bad Medicine. That one, you're Slippery When Wet was the one that one song was on, but you remember Bad Medicine was a great song. There's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bunch of great songs. So anyway, so I did that as one of our daily, and posted it on TikTok and on Instagram, and literally like within a few hours, Bon Jovi's account like reposted it and gave me like the peace sign. And we got about a week, we've gotten 3,000 views, which is probably like our third or fourth best video we've ever done. So like crazy cool. And then today they did the same thing on Instagram, and I checked right before the podcast, and just today we're at 22,000 views just today on that Bon Jovi video that we did on our Instagram account. So obviously the power of the Bon Jovi fan base is strong. I think they got 1.3 million followers, but anyway, just pretty cool. That's by far 22,000 views by
Big
far.
shout to our Bon Jovi fans, and we will be changing out the lead song if we could. If they would let us license it.
Exactly. Yeah, we just got to work out the licensing deal on that one. But anyway, I thought that'd be cool. That'd be cool. If you want to go see the video, you can check it out on our Instagram or TikTok account. So there you go. That was my
Fantastic.
update. Yeah, pretty cool.
Great. Man, I'm in the middle of conference season and football season. I think I'm going to be in San Francisco. I'm going to be in Nashville. I got to go out to Portland and another
Damn.
conference in
Be
Florida, and
careful in
then
Portland, man.
3 football. Oh, that's one block. I want to go out and I don't care about that shit. It's just
I
not.
know. I
That's not
know.
us.
No,
We
it's
don't.
not.
Gonna go out there and have a good time. It's
There
one
you
of the
go.
most beautiful cities of all time, the best breweries you could ever imagine. It's such a cool city. I love
It
it. It's
is.
just
It
beautiful out
is.
there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going into a segment right now that is just freaking awesome. We love talking about the 80s. It's mixtapes and mopeds, and we're going to be talking about the 80s. And Panda has this great idea talking about sports cars from the 80s. And I said, well, wait a minute. We didn't have enough money to
Yeah.
have a sports car in the 80s. Well, let's talk a little bit about the 70s and 80s, and maybe
There you
sprinkle.
go.
We can sprinkle in the 60s, but we're going to probably keep the 70s and 80s. So, we all have those favorite cars. Right now, everybody's dreaming, going, golly, when I had this, I had one of my favorite car of our time. So, this is not a list. It's not the Dirty Niner. This is just us talking about what some of the favorite sport cars, why. So, Andy, you go ahead and kick it. Panda, you kick it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go in like any particular order because I have 4 that I wanted to talk about, but the one I've already covered, so I'll just be really brief. But
Let's go back and forth. Cover
yeah,
yours,
I'll
and
go
then
back.
I'll
I'll give
come.
you
Yeah.
one and you go. So the 82 280ZX that my dad had that I have now found one and I'm restoring it. That one's probably goes to the top of my list just for those reasons. And I really loved it when he had that car and I drove it back then. So I'm super excited to see that restored and going to paint it red. And yeah, so I'm super excited. So that's the first one. I think I've talked
I
enough about
remember
that.
that car like it was
Yeah.
yesterday. That's when I
Yeah.
first we knew each other, but that's when we
Yeah.
first started hanging out. I
Yeah.
remember that going to your garage and looking at that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and even one of our friends, loved that car.
Yeah. Yeah.
God,
She
that
was
was
a
a
beaut.
beauty.
Yeah,
Yep.
she was. Yeah. What about you?
I'm not gonna start off with my favorite one, but I'm gonna start off with the '78 Trans Am. I think there was one person in high school. I don't remember if anybody in high school, but that black Trans Am,
Fletch.
was it Fletch? Did
Yeah,
he have that?
he had Trans Am, yeah.
Man, it's just
With the
the
eagle
T
on the
tops.
hood and the
Oh
T-tops.
yes,
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It was just one of the most beautiful cars, and riding, and you could feel you could feel when
Yeah.
somebody it was the one of the that was
It was a
just a beauty.
beast. It was a
Yeah, what
beast.
was the Bandit? Was the Burt Reynolds movie?
Oh, the Cannonball Run and all that.
Cannonball Run, yes, Cannonball Run.
That's right.
that car just brings it out of me of going, I would if I would have a collection of cars, that would be in the top 10 without question.
If I see that car with the Eagle on the hood, that just screams, 1980 to me, like, 79, 78, 80, 81. It's that this takes me straight back to that time in my life. That is a very distinctive and impressive vehicle. Very good choice. I like that one. All right, so I'm going to go to my next one, and this is one that I actually owned. So this car was sitting for sale after I graduated college, and I just fell in. I would drive by it all the time, and it was sitting out there for sale, for sale, for sale. And my parents went on vacation and they wouldn't let me buy it. So they went on vacation and I went out and I got a loan from the bank in town and I bought that thing. It was a 1984 Saab 900 Turbo Black. That thing, I love that car. It was beautiful.
Which I broke down in twice in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, that was a slight problem with that vehicle. Not the most reliable car ever constructed. And yes, it was kind of a mini disaster
You know the
owning it.
multiple stories that go on with that car. Me breaking down underneath a bridge, going to Buckhead, and then a principal, name principal that we will not say who the name is,
Yeah,
with
yeah. The quote, "What does it take to get arrested in this
what does it
town?"
take to get arrested?
The thing broke down in the middle of Roswell Road at about 1 in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning, right? And all of us were scattered around trying to figure out
Yeah.
how we were getting home that night. Oh my God.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Right. Yeah.
But that was I got a hats off. Yep, that I love that car.
It
Other
was
than
a
that,
beautiful car.
other than that time I'm
Other
broken
than that.
underneath a bridge and I've got traffic on both ways blocking me down. And all we had to do was just like all it was both times was just the little valve came off there and you said to
Yeah.
plug it back
Yeah.
in. That's all it
Yeah.
was. It was some
That's all it
simple
was.
problem.
It was
The
stupid.
turbo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to my if I had a car I want to go buy right now, and it was a car as a kid and as an adult is I've always wanted a 1970 somewhere between 69 and 72 Cutlass convertible.
Oh.
I love that car. I've never driven one. I've only seen them at car shows. That car is always the one. I'm not about the speed of anything. That thing
Right.
is just a beautiful car. I always wanted one of those cars.
Wow.
If I give that, that's one of my top, top 10, right in the top five.
Oh.
I'd go out and buy it
Wow.
tomorrow.
Wow. I drove an old Cutlass, much older and not nearly as nice as that, but I remember those. Yeah, those are
I
things of
had one.
beauty.
I owned a 1980 old Cutlass
There you
convertible.
go. Yeah. Oh, convertible even. Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
had it here in
Wow.
Atlanta while you were in Texas.
Oh, I'm sure that didn't leak at all.
All the time. That thing, it must have weighed 10,000 pounds. It was a
Oh, those were
beast.
boats.
Oh, it was a
Yes.
beast, yes.
Oh, man. All right.
1990, I said
Oh,
that.
90. Okay.
90,
Oh,
90.
actually, was that like the
The
burgundy or
black one.
red? Oh, it was black.
No,
Okay.
that was the one that got stolen.
Okay. I remember you had another convertible one that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
red. Okay. All right, next on my list is kind of a mid 80s Toyota Supra with the little spoiler in the back. Man, I love those. Those are so cool. I love the rims. I love the butt on those things. I love the spoiler. And they were sporty as heck. I think they were technically called Celica Supras, and then they just went to Supras, down the line. But
I'm gonna match
beautiful.
that one. That one, and to me, the Mazda RX-7 from '83. The both those two were exactly to me the same. I love the RX-7 because it was that single. What was it called?
Yeah, they had rotary
Single rotary.
engines.
It's a
Yeah,
rotary engine. It was
yeah.
only because of that. I don't know what that meant. To be a rotary engine was starting up your lawnmower.
Yeah, just made them. Nobody knew how to work on them. That was the only thing. But that was the fourth one on my list, the RX-7. Those are beautiful,
Oh no, I'm
beautiful.
sorry.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. Those are beautiful. Yeah, I would put the Super and the RX-7 together as well. I thought they were like equivalent vehicles. I would have taken either one and been very happy.
I might have had a girlfriend in high school that I drove her RX-7 all over the place for a long time.
Ah, there you go.
Well, we don't want to talk about that one.
All right, all right. No.
We won't go too deep in that one. I'm going to go to, so I have two left. And so, me as a kid in high school, I had a 72 Nova with a 3 speed on the floor. And man, I would take that car today. Even when I sold it, I was like tears in my eyes when I sold my 72 Nova. I had that thing for like 7 years
I
of
remember.
driving around. Man, that thing was just a beast. It wasn't fast, it was never fast.
No, they're not
No,
fast.
but it was just, it was a fun car, and I'd take it again today. God bless it, wasn't had zero safety factor to it, and but what a great car! I love that car. My last one's another car that I owned, and sad but happy was a 1983 Porsche 911 Cabriolet,
Yeah.
and so man, I didn't realize how much value that I sold it way too cheap.
Mm.
That thing now is going out for 50, 60,000 bucks
What? You
as a piece of crap.
wow. Wow.
I sold it way undervalued at 22,000 bucks. Way undervalued when but that was, I don't know, 6 years ago. But I had something in the garage. I'm like, God bless. It breaks down on my wife all the time. Let's just get
Yeah.
rid of it, get it out of the garage. And I probably screwed up on that one, but I didn't need to have it around the house either. But
At some point when you're it's good when you're really young and it's good when you're really old, but in those middle years it's not very practical because the thing just
yeah,
breaks down.
right. You got because we have two more cars showing up in the driveway. I don't need to have
Right.
5 cars hanging around there.
Right.
Now I can have it all day long, but
Yeah,
man,
but
not
it was
anymore.
beautiful and fun to drive. And I know that you drove it to Hilton Head that very first
It
trip.
broke down
And it
twice.
broke down, of course, yeah. But that was fun having that. You guys were having fun
Oh
in that.
God,
Yeah, yeah.
I love that car. That was so much fun. Great segment there, Panda. We are moving on to a little controversial topic, but a pretty fun one. So we all can think about that high school time. We can all think about times in high school. Back when we grew up in the 70s and 80s, it was a lot of fun. And back in those times, maybe not today, but back then we might have. Because in Ohio, growing up, the drinking age at one time was 19 when we were coming through, for the most part. Actually, at one time was 18.
Yeah, it was.
It was 18 at one
Yeah.
time, and when
For
we really
3-2 beer.
started.
Yeah.
So, the question on this segment for everybody and listeners, think about this. What drink, when you were back in high school, did you go, mm,
Hmm.
it made you the sickest? Panda, I'll start off with you. I've got way too many stories here, so go ahead. I'll start with you.
All right. So, yeah. So, I don't know what year. It must have been my junior year because I didn't really do anything much my senior year. So, my junior year, you would just get
Lenny
whatever.
Conrad, you're not allowed listening because he was never having anything at any baseball
Oh,
coach.
no, 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 no. Although in the summer when we went down to Moorhead, Kentucky for our baseball tournament, I can't say the same thing about that, but not in high school. Anyway, you would just get whatever you could get, and so it would be like cherry vodka or the slow gin fizz or
You're making me throw up right now.
I know. And you have crappy bourbon or whatever, and that probably I've been ruined my whole life on bourbon because of high school, and I'm only now where I can drink a glass, on the rocks or neat now and enjoy it. But for like 40 years, I couldn't drink bourbon. But the one that I would say is the worst was my old pal Tony Dodro, who's been gone to the wind for 40 years. No one knows where he is or
Tony, we
whatnot.
love you. We embrace you. If you ever listen to our podcast, we still love you, man. We'd love to talk to you again.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I'd love to hear from him. Anyway, we was probably junior year, I'm guessing, and we went to a football game and we had Mad Dog 2020 and we finished the bottle. And I think I recall getting ill there at the football game. So that was that I swore never again would I ever do that.
Top
That
of
was
my list, the same drink.
oh really?
Same drink was
That stuff is nasty,
oh my God, and mine was with
nasty.
a highway patrolman. I don't think I can say his name. I think he's off the highway. He's retired. Brent Currents. Right when he got his driver's license, we found Mad Dog 2020 with Mr. Scotty Griffin, and all of us had, except for the driver, of course. He never had any, but man, I had some, and oh my gosh, it was snowing. I had Mad Dog 2020. We're like, woo, sliding over the place, and Brandon, roll out of the window.
Yeah.
Oof.
I do not know what's in that,
I
but
will
it is
never ever in my life. I can't even look at the. Every time I
no.
would pass it, I just. But that was even before there was wine. I mean, their only wine was Mad Dog 2020 and Riuniti.
Boone's Farm strawberry.
Boone's Farm Strawberry. There's the wine selections. San
Oh,
Francisco or California never made it to Lancaster,
no,
Ohio.
not then.
There
Screw
was
on
not a
tops or in a
place.
box. That's all we
God
had.
bless. All right, I've got this. So
Oh,
that Mad Dog 2020, I've got two more. No, one of them is Wiedemann's. Um, as a sophomore, I had about 10 Wiedemanns. And this is actually how I ended up at being a wrestler. We've heard the story before, maybe or maybe not in our podcast, but I had about 10 Wiedemanns one night and went to a sophomore dance at the high school. And it was a country dance, it was with the Oak Ridge Boys. I think we're at the something like that at the Lancaster High School. I don't know if it was the
wow.
Oak Ridge Boys, but I don't know if you remember that sophomore year, but showed up
Oh.
there. Excuse me, junior year. It was junior year,
Hmm.
and they had the that festival or something. And I had 10 Wiedemanns showed up there, and just not good. I don't know what it was, but not good. And sitting on
Ooh.
a haystack, and the assistant professor or principal goes, "Hey, Mr. Wheeler, you're not doing so well." Yeah, sir, I gotta go. Oh, you're coming to me back to the principal's office. And you go back to the principal's office and
Oh. Ouch.
on the principal's
Uh,
desk and trash can.
on the
Oh.
desk? Oh my God. Leo Barr's desk?
Yeah, and Leo Barr's desk. It wasn't on
Oh.
it was on the side going to the trash can. It's not like I smashed everything, but it was not good.
Oh.
Jerry, what was the guy's name?
Jerry Woodard.
Jerry Woodard. Yeah, he played golf with
Yeah.
my dad, so I don't think you remember
Oh.
the story, but yeah, that's how I became a wrestler again.
Oh. That's awesome. I remember, I knew the story. I didn't remember the part about the principal's office. So,
Yeah,
whew.
principal's office, and yeah. So whenever I think about Wiedemann beer, it was just the nastiest beer out there, and that
Oh,
was my story of Wiedemann's. And then because of that, I was a wrestler. I was already a wrestler in sophomore or freshman year, and I didn't do it sophomore. So I went, well, you got to be grounded for all the time. Might as well go wrestling again. So I went into wrestling, and I think the other worst drink I've ever seen was when you're a wrestler to lose weight, you always had to be spitting, right? I mean, because we are always going into tournaments trying to get to. I mean, I wrestled 112 and 118. So I mean, I always showed up on Monday 6 pounds overweight, and you're trying to get into the scales the next morning to make sure you are right at 118, and then watching some dude, not me, but watching somebody else have a spit cup, and they're going, "Oh, Coke," and he went,
oh,
drink from a spit cup. That had to be one of the grossest, sickest things I've ever seen in my life.
oh, that is so freaking gross. That is
Oh, yeah, I'm like it right
disgusting.
now. I'm like,
Oh, must,
oh.
I just had a full meal, man. That's not good. Oh,
So I beat
oh,
any sickest story out there. If anybody does that, oh,
oh, no.
it's Coca-Cola. Sure.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to goes along with this next story, kind of rolls into the next one.
Yeah, it does.
But it's the craziest stories without having alcohol involved. And, we've all had those funny, crazy stories of something without alcohol involved. And I'm going to start it off because it really continues on with wrestling. And one of my favorite, craziest stories were I attended for junior year, I was fortunate enough that I wrestled varsity. Because I picked a place in between two wrestlers that are really darn good that went to college and wrestled. And I was in between both of them. And I went, well, I'm not going that direction. Doug Boone's wrestling for William Mary, and I can't remember who was above me. I was no way I was going to beat him, but I was right in the middle of that, so I always had to keep my weight down. Anyway, I was at we were one of those. The guy above me couldn't. He got hurt, and we had to bring in the JV guy to this varsity tournament, and that we were wrestling Canton, and Canton was one of the
Oh,
dominant
yeah.
wrestling teams. Canton and St. Ed. When you walk in those places, man, it
Mm-hmm.
was serious as hell. And we were getting in there, and I was just a mediocre wrestling person. I was going out there holding my own, but my guy coming in from reserves going into varsity, they stopped the match before he stepped out for his first match, and they shut down the whole system and the whole and they turned on the lights and they started playing the Rocky music. Ding 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 ding. And TJ Mears going for his 100th win in wrestling history, and is my boy right. The
Straight off the
Mr.
JV.
Mr. Parmenter, who was not a good wrestler, is getting out on the mat.
Oh, it was Parmenter?
It
Oh
was
my
Parmenter.
God. Oh my God.
He's wrestling 132, and I'm like going,
Oh.
ah. He's going against the
Oh.
guys he's never lost. It's his 100th win. And I'm like going, all right, dude, you can do it. So the best part about it was he was such a slow wrestler that TJ Mears came out. He was such a slow guy. TJ Mears went to go take him down, and he was so slow that TJ Mears had missed it because he thought it was going to go somewhere else, and he missed it. And Parmenter actually grabbed a hold of him and almost had the first point when TJ Mears went, oh, wait, I
Whoa.
screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up. Boom, boom. Pinned in 10 seconds.
Poor Scott. Oh.
And it was one of the funnier things. Dude, how many times you see the whole place shut down? You're like, oh shit, I got to wrestle this guy. See, if I would have had to wrestle that guy, I would have at least been a runner. I would have like bopped his head a couple times and ran around the mat and let him try to take me down and bite that poor. Yeah. Anyway, that's one of the funnier non-alcohol moments. Anyway.
So I got one, but it's not funny. It's just I've shared in the past, I think, in one of the early episodes, my junior year baseball. We play Marietta, which is down on the Ohio River, 2 hours away and or longer by bus at least. They were in our conference, the Central Ohio League, and Marietta on the river is in the Central Ohio League, which is ridiculous.
2.5 hours away. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, right.
ways. Yeah.
So I go down there and I've shared the story, but I got hit like 5 times, and then I finally got hit between the eyes when I was catcher tried to pick me off, and so I had to leave. They took me to the hospital, and I had a concussion, and
Oh, that
so
explains a lot.
that does explain a lot. So I had the two black eyes, the nose was puffy, whatever. I was woozy, and they're like, so they played the entire second game when I was in the hospital. And then I guess they waited on the bus and got me out of the hospital. I think my dad drove me to the bus, and I drove back on the bus 2.5 hours. And by that time, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And so we get back and we get off the bus. And again, I'm woozy and trying to get my stuff. Everybody's like hopping in their car and taking off. And I'm like operating very slowly because I'm just, again, just kind of out of it, whatever. I'm like the last person in the parking lot. And I get to my car and all four of my tires are flat. And so here I am, like concussed. I'm barely like capable of like making an educated decision. I can't even believe they're going to let me drive. And most of the people had already left, and my tires were flat. So apparently it was senior prom night. And so as a prank, somebody
Prom or
went.
prank? Senior prank.
It was a prom. It was one of the senior because that would have been like in April or May. So it was probably like senior prom. And as a prank, they went out and any car they saw in the parking lot, they just let all the air out. And mine happened to be one of them. And so there I was like stuck, like concussed with two black eyes, just sitting on my hood.
With
And
no
then
cell
finally,
phone, of
no
course, you
cell
know.
phone. And and then finally, my dad, I like an hour later, my dad like where were we wonder where you were. I'm like, well, here's look at my car. So anyway, so that was my story. I was just kind of stuck, but that was like one of the crappy. That wasn't a funny story. That was a crappy day for me, but I did
Funny to all of
survive.
us, but that
Well,
sucks.
yeah, it did. That was just a shitty day. Sorry for my
All
language.
right, I got one more to go along with that. It actually goes along with the same your same kind of thing. So I gotta say it because it was always so funny, and it happened like two or three times. So I had a '72 Nova, and it became known to a lot of people that it didn't take keys to start my car. You could just click the ignition to go turn the damn thing on. And as time went on, a few people had figured that out. They would see me turn on the keys and not notice that I wouldn't tell anybody, but they would see me turn on without my keys. It's kind of like today with I had keyless entry in my '72 Nova without pushing a button.
Right.
So I came out of high school one day and I'm like going, where the hell's my car? And there's Tom Luttrell doing donuts in my car out front. He's just, and I see the sheriff's not around. He's just spinning my car everywhere in the parking lot. Just flattening the tires everywhere. I'm like, oh God. Gotta lock my doors. I gotta figure out this key thing.
I
But
remember that.
I gotta admit, it was so funny watching him do that, and he's just got the biggest smile from ear to ear.
Oh man.
Going, hey Wheeler.
I remember that car, and I remember you could start it without the key. That's the craziest thing I ever
Yeah,
saw.
the craziest thing of seeing him out there in the high school parking lot with everybody around doing
That's funny.
donuts in the parking lot. Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, listeners, that you always think go back to your high school days. What was those funniest, crazy stories? And that we just gave you a couple of hours, but think about those ones as you're thinking about those past times. We're going on to a segment about today, and for all of us that are a little bit older and not our kids, but any of our kids that are listening is, how did we ever come up with your kids' names? How did you ever come up? And so, as we begin this segment, I was thinking about when Panda posted this. I'm going, boy, what an important thing to have a history of your kid's name. If I said, God bless you, name your kid Schleppel, and you're going, hey, Schlepp.
Schlep, what's up,
By the way,
Schleppy?
apologies to all the Schleppels out there.
I
I
can't
mean,
believe there are many.
I know we had a girl in our graduating class. Her name was Gay Ann Yenrick, and her initials were Gay. And I was going, golly, your parents had to be just awful. We never knew the undertones of what that gay meant back in the days, but golly, just that was tough as a kid. So just naming your kids, and over time, that is a wearing factor. Um, the pandas, we get asked quite frequently. I know the pandas have this too. You go, hey, what's the magic formula? And I know this is not about the names, but you go, what's the magic formula? I'm just giving this to what's the magic formula for raising kids? And you go, we don't have any magic formula. There's no magic formula. There's zero magic formula. We always say three things. Number one, from 0 to 12, get your kids to bed by 7 p.m. The second thing is it's your role, not their rule when they under your roof. You just name the rules. And the other only third thing that we say about that is, be there, just be present. And to me, that's about parenting. And so that goes along with the name. You got to make sure you name the kids the right way. Panda, I'll hand it over to you on what you're talking about the names, and I'll talk about how we named our kids.
Yeah, it was just interesting. There's nothing like glamorous about it, but just the thought process that goes into naming kids. And I remember our first when Jill was pregnant with Connor. We were in San Diego. We'd already moved by then back to, but we were visiting, and I remember driving distinctly down the eight or one of the highways there, and we were talking. We had been debating, and we finally settled on Connor, which is a name that we always loved, but we weren't sure it was the first name. And then we decided we didn't like Con, we liked Connor, so we wanted to make sure it was an ER Connor. So and then it was important to get the middle name. So then I loved my 2 years in Austin, Texas. I'm like, Connor Austin has a nice ring to it. And as soon as I said that, Jill was like, boom, that's it. Because we had been debating another name, which I'm going to get to in a second. So then we had, we were pregnant, or not we, Jill was pregnant with our second one. And I always loved the name Casey. I always have. The Mighty Casey Struck Out was like a poem when I was growing up. I just loved the name, but I always wanted it for a dog. I wanted to name a dog Casey, but I had a dog named Jake.
Sorry,
And
Casey.
yeah, so it was always going to be a dog name.
Nice, Casey. Come here.
But then we started talking about it, and as soon as I said again, we did what's the middle name? Because Casey with ends with a Y, Young begins with a Y. It needs to have a strong middle name. So I finally came up with Casey Michael Young, and then boom, it's like, okay, that's it. That was the name. So there was a lot of debate on that, but the middle names for our first two were really kind of important. And then we have our third child, which ended up being a boy again. And we went back to our first choice for Connor's name, which we wanted it to be, but we were going to name Connor Jack. But then Jill could not get past Jack and Jill. Like, there goes Jack and Jill with our first child. And so we're like, oh, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have the Jack and Jill jokes, whatever. But then by the time you have your third kid, you don't freaking care anymore. We love the name. And we're like, what's the, we
We love
paired
you,
it.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, exactly, of course. And now it's kind of dumb to even worry about stuff like that. But that's the stuff you particularly.
But again, the setup, you worry about it because the rest of their lives, you got something you got to
Exactly.
worry about.
And it's also, I don't know if you agree, but your first kid, everything is exaggerated. Like, every outlet is like covered up. The minute they move into the house, even if they came and crawl on the floor, then, you just do everything to the extreme. Your name has got to be perfect, all that. By the time you get to your third kid, I mean, you have to drop them on the floor and like,
They can lick the outlet.
they can stick their tongue in the outlet. They're uncovered with wires.
You'll be all right.
Exactly. By the time you get to your third kid.
Hey, where's the bad dog?
Exactly. So yeah, we just said, okay, Jack was the name we wanted all along. So that he got that, and then we just put my name in there because we were going to call him. Here's the other irony: I wanted his nickname to be Jay. His middle name is Andrew, Jack Andrew Young, and his initials are JAY. So we were going to call him Jay. We never once, not once, called him Jay in his entire life. So that didn't really work out. But anyway, that was the initial thought process going into that.
Interesting. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, very similar. I had to ask my wife before we got onto this podcast, and I said, "Hey, what was our first name for Chloe?" She goes, "Oh, it was Courtney all the way." I went, it was." she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, okay." I go, "Oh, I probably put my sales hat on," but her brother, their daughter was named Lexi, and she always wanted Lexi as her child. She goes, "Dang it!" So at the ninth month, as all that stuff goes on, she goes, "All right, we're gonna go Alexandra." All right, we can go Alex for short. And so we get to the hospital and we go, all right, I'm cool with Alexandra. I go, God bless, that's a long name, but all right, we're cool with Alexandra. And it's, a lot to say. I'm like short. How do we do short and sweet? Hey, Alexandra, Alexandra. Okay, well, we'll probably go with Alex. So we get to the hospital. They go, well, you guys need a middle name. I'm going, neither one of us could come agree. I mean, we're first child. Yeah,
Mm.
it's the most important that you go, what do we do first child? I stop by Barnes and Noble and I buy the Bible of names. And I swear to goodness, it is 2 inches thick of names. And so, before you have, looking up internet, and God bless, we don't have AI then to tell me what I'm going to go do. And so I'm going through that and I land on Chloe and go, all right, Chloe, that sounds pretty good for the middle name. We get her out of the hospital, bring her home, and go, Alex, Alex, Alex. You go, that's not an Alex. It's Chloe. So we get home. We didn't like Alex and go, she's a Chloe.
That's
So go back to the importance of naming of, would we go Chloe Alexandra? Probably not, but it's still Chloe will go, why did you call me by the middle name? Why? Because now I have to be in class. I'm Alexandra in
yeah,
business. I
yeah,
have to
right,
explain
right.
it to everybody. Go, see, now you have a talking point, right? Now
There you
you got something to
go.
talk about.
I love it.
And then we come to number two, and you go, please, dear God, don't let me make the same mistake. Let's go with something easy. And we could not decide. I wanted Colt or I wanted
Hmm.
Major is what I wanted. Major Applewhite. I loved Major Applewhite back in
Yeah.
those days. I went Major, and she's gone, hell no, we're not going Major. I go, it's awesome. So we were watching Stone Phillips on the evening news, and she goes, Stone. I go, perfect. There's no stones in the world. We're going to have a stone.
There we
And then
go.
once again, couldn't come up with a middle name, so we came to the same thing. I go, all right, we're just gonna go with my middle name, and we're good. Stone Allen, we're all good. I'm Allen, he's Allen, same spelling. Made it easy. So the naming convention and how you go through it, and how the kids, go through life. So your kids are going with their names, Casey, Connor, and
Mhm.
Jack. Great first names. Sorry, Chloe.
Poor Chloe. Well, she has two beautiful names, so she really can't complain too
There
much.
you go. Well, see, I say, look, Amazon named it after you, Alexa. Come on, we should have just went with Alexa.
There you go. Right.
You should have been the voice. All right, now, oh, look, Alexa's talking to me right now in the podcast.
Oh,
Um, so we are at the final segment, and this is our. We have the music. Play the music. It is Stump Wheels, and Andy's got a new version of Stump Wheels for
yep.
everybody listening out there.
Yep. So I realized I've been doing Guess the 80s movie on our TikTok site, but I've been giving people four quotes, and I'm like, I'm really hosing up Wheels by only giving him one quote. So I'm going to do
It's
four.
not going to help.
Okay.
Wheels is
Well,
just stupid.
it might help. It might help, but you're going to get four quotes, and you're going to feel especially dumb maybe if you don't get it. I don't know, but I guess if you haven't seen the movie,
Whoa, whoa.
doesn't
Is
matter
it
how
is it
many.
worth $1 million? Can we say is
Oh,
it
look at
worth a
that.
million dollars?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, quote number one. One of my favorite movies, by the way, of the 80s. So I don't know. I assume you've seen it, but you just never know. All right, here we go. First quote. Can I borrow your towel for a second? My car just hit a water buffalo. Does that ring any bells?
Of
Okay.
course not.
All right. Second quote. You using the whole fist, Doc?
Oh, back in time,
Nope.
Back to the
Nope.
Future.
Nope. 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 That's not that Doc. Nope. All right, here we go. Third quote. Yes, very good. I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich please.
Now that quote is one that is very memorable.
Yeah,
Doc.
it is. Yeah.
Um, because it's got to be John Candy.
No.
Hmm.
No. Nope. This
Chris
is
Farley.
no. This is one of the original Saturday Night cast members movies. Final quote. This is the final line of the movie. It may not even. It may help you. I'm not sure. Here we go. When it came to basketball, Gail was a loss, but we had our own version of one on one, and she thought I was the bravest guy in the world, which of course I am. By the way, I charged the entire vacation to Mr. Underhill's American Express card. Want the number? You may have never seen this movie if you didn't get it on those.
Fletch would go to me right away, but that's not Fletch. None of
Yeah.
that's Fletch.
Boom, boom, boom. It's all Fletch. That is
Really?
Fletch. Yeah. That was Fletch. Well done. We'll give you credit for that one.
Okay,
Yep.
there we go.
He-
Woo!
Woo!
Put down the healing.
Yeah. That was Chevy Chase. Those are all Chevy Chase quotes from Fletch.
I've watched that maybe 100 times. I know the third one, the last one was I think I remember that one from Fletch. Plus saying Saturday Night Live a little
That
helped out.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Limits. There we go. Hey,
1 game winning streak. There you go.
1 game winning streak. I've had 2 out of we've had 30 podcasts, so they probably had 20 stump the wheels and 2 out of 20. There we go. I'm on a 10% roll. That's good.
Let's go.
Thank you, everybody. Please go out to redwheelspanda.com. It is the fastest growing website on the planet. Thank you all for listening. We love you all, and please go ask questions, and say you like the Red Wheels Panda. Thank you all.
Thanks all. See you later.